Hi, this is Roland from PMI DCM Realty Group, where we manage properties from asset management perspective. Today, what we're going to talk about is 7 genius ways to fund your next rental property purchase. Now, we always talk about creative solutions for your property maintenance. We also talk about not letting bad tenants in to your property. That's the best way to keep them out. Uh, but today, we're going to talk about acquisitions, right? And how do you fund your rental property purchases? There are many different ways to do it. Creative financing is at the heart of these different strategies. And so what I'm going to do right now is talk to you about 7 different ways you can use to fund your next rental property purchase, right? So the first one is private lending. There are private investors out there who are more than willing to joint venture with you to purchase investment properties, right? They want their property, they want their money to be always moving and making money for them. And they don't want to have to take the time out to do the work to find a property, find a good deal, put an offer in, and all the other things that go into it. And so this may be a great opportunity for you to connect with investors, investors with deep pockets who would let somebody else do the work, and you guys split the profit, right? So going to ARIAs is a good place to identify these private funding options, but definitely look for private funding options when you are looking to invest in property. That would be a great way for you to start your acquisitions process. Next is online mortgage loans. Now you have Rocket Mortgage, Quicken Loans, Lending Tree. Some of these lending options are more traditional, so you're going to have to meet certain lending criteria. But certainly, dealing with these online funding options, sometimes you get lower rates because their overhead is lower because they typically don't have brick and mortar shops. Everything's online, so they can give you a lower cost. But definitely look into these online lending options to help with your financing options. Next, you have seller financing options. There are often times where sellers would do owner financing. You have to find the right deal to make that happen. But if you do find the right deal, it can certainly be beneficial to you and beneficial to that particular owner as well. So whenever you have a property that you're looking to purchase, talk to that seller and see if they're willing to finance that property with a wraparound mortgage for a period of time. Fourth is your leveraging your home equity. Now, um, depending on the bank, every bank is different, but the banks that I work with typically they provide home equities for owner-occupied homes, right? So if you're going to leverage the home equity, you have to make sure you pull out or you put that in place before you move out of that home to make it a rental property. But if you have the ability, or if you're living in a home that you don't plan to move out, but you want to buy another property, pull the cash out of your current home, their home equity, and use those funds, leverage those funds to purchase the property that you're going to purchase. So home equity is a great way to do that. You only pay for the funds that you actually use for most home equities, and so it's just kind of like a reserve fund that you have there available to you whenever you need it. And if you're making more money than you're paying in interest, then it's a win anyway for you. Then you have peer-to-peer lending options. There are a lot of programs like these online you can search for, but essentially it's raising funds through the general public. So a lot of times it's investors that see your project, they think it's viable, and there is a company or program that allows them to put money in to help you fund those projects, and then they make their money back as you make money from the program, from the home. So definitely look into peer-to-peer funding options. Those are great ways to get your property funded. Next, you have fix and flip lending. And these are typically hard money loans. These loans are a little bit more expensive. Typically, you expect to have that loan anywhere from 6 to 18 months. But essentially, you buy the property, they fund you to buy the property, they fund you to rehab the property, and then you are able to turn that property around and get property sold quickly, either to another investor as a rental, or you are able to sell it to, retail it to someone who's going to live in it, right? And these are great options. I used to do this back in the day. I used to have hard money loans for the properties that I bought and rehabbed and turned around. And last is life insurance policies. Now, I'm not big in using life insurance policies, but it is definitely a mechanism you can use. Whole life policies that have cash value tend to be expensive. You also have to pay interest when you pull that money out as well, particularly if you're doing it before a certain age range. So you have to understand the rules and the type of insurance that you're purchasing. Insurance is a whole world in and of itself, and we're not going to dive too deep into it, but it's definitely an option that you can leverage. There are several different insurance carriers that you can use to see what they're able to offer you and to leverage, and if you're going to be able to leverage that for investment purposes. Yes, you can always venture into your local bank or credit union to discuss your options, especially if you have a trusted lending advisor. But if your institution can't get creative with you, consider some of these other financing options to fund your next rental property purchase. For more ideas and savvy investor advice, let PMI JCM Realty Group be your guide. We will help our clients make decisions on an asset management perspective to ensure the bottom line ROI and portfolio growth. Also, we have a webinar coming up where we're going to show you how to guarantee the rent even if the tenant doesn't pay. In addition to this as well, we also want to show you how to make sure that your property is well maintained, and if the tenant moves out and they leave it in poor condition, how to get that work funded without it coming out of your pocket. Don't forget to, we have a Facebook group that's available to you. You can use the link in this article to access that, where we have real estate investors that can definitely help you with questions that you have about your portfolio. And if you have any specific questions for me, you can click the link on my calendar. Click this link on this article to put a meeting on my calendar. You can contact me directly at rcharles@pmijcmrealty.com. You can also call me at 813-333-9617. Thank you.